show. This is Mike from Redding, California.
Hi, Mike. Turn your radio off, Mike. There is a delay system here, everybody, so please, when you get on the air, immediately turn your radio off.
Yeah, there was a story I heard recently about a crop circle that when they looked at the pattern on the crop circle, they found a coin inside this crop circle that had the same pattern printed on it. Have you heard anything about that story at all?
Where was this story?
This is supposedly a crop circle in England.
All right. Chad, have you heard anything of that?
Not of that particular one, but it sounds an awful like the one in Germany.
All right, Colin, thank you. There was one like that in Germany?
The famous case in Germany of the complex crop formation. It was many circles joined together by a line, and the fellow went into it. A lot of mystery around this one, but we know the facts. But the fellow went into it with a metal detector. We don't know why, because nobody else has done it before. And in the center of the circle, one of the circles, he dug up three metal objects, and they turned out to be plates. One was pure gold, one was pure silver, and I believe the third was pure bronze.
Wow.
And it had the imprint, the exact imprint of the crop formation on it. It was taken away very fast. It was bought up by a collector.
Wow.
The gold one was melted down, but apparently the silver one and the bronze one still exist. Now, again, like anything else, there are a lot of strange stories surrounding this. What the absolute facts are, we don't know. It's one of a kind again. It's never happened before. This is an authentic case.
Well, have there been similar searches, Chad, made of crop circles looking for this?
Well, people will dig up the center of crop circles. I run into this quite often. If you're not the first one there, if you're there a day or two later, you'll find that the center quite often is gone. Somebody's taking a shovel and taking all the dirt away for souvenir or for testing or for...
All right, we're talking to a very wide part of the world right now, Chad. A lot of states, a lot of them are farming states. If you could give any advice to a farmer who might have a crop circle suddenly appear, what would you tell the farmer?
Number one, don't let anybody into it until a researcher has been there. This is really, really critical for us, especially for me. I need to get in there before anybody else does to check the footprint, before the stalks are crushed, before any damage has been done to it. To try to get some samples, to do the photography, to look at it very closely. After I or other people like me have spent, say, 2, 3, 4 hours in it, then it could be open to the public. Now, this is really difficult, but that's the one thing I always ask the farmers. Please, please, please save it in its pristine form until we get there.
All right, well, look, I'm going to put myself in the position of a farmer. I go out one morning, somehow I'm on the higher ground. I look out, oh my God, there's a big crop circle right in the middle of my field. Well, I'm going to go flip open the yellow pages to crop circles. I mean, who do I call?
Generally, the first people they call are UFO researchers, or if they don't have they'll phone the press. In England, I'm talking mostly about North America.
Right.
Because the vast areas in Canada, I'm currently covering 600,000 square miles. In England, we're talking about a very small area with a lot of rolling hills. The vast majority of the crop circles are discovered either by the farmer or by somebody driving by first thing in the morning because there's hills all over and they're easily seen.
Well, if you get a call, Chad, that one's occurred somewhere, even if you did go and investigate, presumably most times they're hundreds or maybe even thousands of miles away. You can't possibly get there fast enough to do any research before, a whole herd of people have gone over it.
Oh, that's, especially in Canada, this is very true, and it's a problem. Last year, I was fortunate enough to be called by a farmer who I knew from before. He phoned me up and said, brand new crop circle, and there's a circle with a ring around it. He asked me if I wanted to come up and look at it. Two people had already been there, and I said, well, okay, I'll do it. I mean, I could have a chance in Canada this year, so I'm still like to see it. I got there about noon that day, and a brand new one had formed that very night. He knew it wasn't there before. It was within sight of the road, not a well-traveled road, because he had traveled by it that evening on his way home. It wasn't there in the evening. It was there the first thing in the morning. He knew I was coming, but he didn't tell anybody, and he watched it from across the road to make sure nobody else would go into it. He didn't touch it. I was Fortinet, and that was a really precious one for me. It wasn't very complex, but it was really important. I spent 6 hours in it, crawling on my hands and knees, starting from the very outside, looking for footprints for one in the soil, very dry soil. I didn't find one single clod of earth disturbed, pressed down, or disturbed in any way. In this particular formation, the wheat, this one occurred in wheat, all the other one you told me about was an oak. The wheat wasn't completely pressed flat to the ground. It was a few inches off the ground, which showed that if anybody had done it with an instrument, you would not have had the wheat popped up a few inches. So no physical object of any kind had been in this cross circle, which proved to me that this was one of the rare cases that no human was involved in this. It not possibly have been. Also, in Canada, we don't have any tram lines like they do in England for the tractor marks. There's no way to get into the field without leaving a trail. You have to be dropped by a helicopter. There's no other way to get in there.
Oh, what a puzzle. All right, Chad, let's keep moving. Line 1, good evening, you're on the air with Chad Beatty.
Yeah, Chad, I had a conversation with Paul Winfield this last week here in Las Vegas at the UFO convention. Apparently he said, and I was in search of, because I'm studying old ancient Hebrew texts and ancient languages in correlation with the crop circles. It appeared to me at first when I started doing this that if anybody was going to try and get this message, the first thing they do is send us their alphabet. And if the simplest crop circles are a form of teaching us their alphabet, the more that we had time to study them, the more complex the sentences would be. I asked him if he had a copy of any research done on the chronological order of appearance and locations, and he said to date he doesn't know of anybody that has a listing of chronological order of appearance. Do you know where I could get hold of something like that? I think your best source would be Colin Andrews. Colin, who lives in Connecticut. And you had said once before that there's been other studies on this. What actual messages have they come up with? What sentences have they come up with? Because I've come up with at least one.
Yeah, there was a couple of cases where it almost looked like writing. These were cross formations, so that's what we call them, but they look more like hieroglyphic writing. And one was supposedly translated by a fellow in California, Aaron Beckholm, and the translation was so odd that I hesitate to repeat it. It said that fill up your wells, there's a drought coming.
Actually, that would be relevant for a farmer, I suppose. Colin, what did you get?
Well, the one sentence that we were able to depict was the Serpent Blade return.
Serpent Blade return.
Yeah.
Which formation would that have been? In England?
Yes, it's one out of the earlier ones in England. But it seems to me that if the government had anything to do with it, they certainly wouldn't be doing it in a field and immediately going out and erasing it. And if the message, if it is in fact a message, then it means that whoever is trying to give the common people the message, the government doesn't want the common people to know what the message is.
Colin, could you supply Chad Beatty with a photograph of the one from which you deciphered that message?
If you give his name and if you give his address and everything, I'm sure we can get in touch with him.
All right, we'll do it. Thank you. All right, so there you have it. What is your address? How would he send you something, Chad?
Okay, it's Pacific Research, box 74537, 2803 West 4th Avenue, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and the postal code V6K1R0. Yeah, I would appreciate any information from anyone, because that's what we're doing.
All right, you better do all that again. That's a long address.
Yeah. It's box 74537, and the street address 2803 West 4th Avenue, Vancouver, Canada, V6K1R0.
That's some address.
Wrong address, yeah.
All right, good. Well, hopefully he will send you a copy of that. That's fascinating. All right, on the first-time caller line, good evening. You're on the air with Chad Beatty.
Well, are any of the use crop circle to Scotland and Pennsylvania.
True. Thank you, caller. What about Scotland, Chad?
I believe there have been a few, something like half a dozen perhaps at the most, and there have been a few in Wales. But again, the vast majority are in South Central England.
All right. Line 2, good evening. You're on the air with Chad Deacon.
Maybe. You know, it appears to me that some of these crop circle formations resemble schematics for electronic circuits, especially if you place them in certain configurations. Also, it appears to me that some of the characteristics of the crop formations, like you were saying you couldn't take pictures of certain ones, certain anomalies involved with the formation of the circles have characteristics of, I don't know if you're familiar with Wilhelm Reich and his experimentations with orgone energy. A lot of the characteristics that are displayed in these crop circles were the same type of effects that he got with orgone energy. Also, are you familiar with radionics at all?
Not really.
All right. Well, let's hold it there. Thank you. Nevertheless, his comment about a schematic is of some interest. Maybe we're looking at it, Chad, in the wrong way. An electronic schematic, I'm not seeing the similarities, but who's to say that they're trying to give us a schematic of electronics that we understand?
Well, that leads us to one of our biggest frustrations, or at least my biggest frustration. What I say quite often is if these intelligences are so advanced, why can't they give us language that we can understand? If these indeed are communications or some form of a language or schematics of something or other, why not talk to us on our own level? We have put 12 years of research into this, and there are a lot of really good minds working at it, and we haven't been able to come up with anything of significance in the way of the language or any kind of meaning like that. Why fool around? Why not just put it in English? Why not even Latin, German, whatever?
Sure, if they really intended to communicate with us, that certainly is true.
Sure, talk to us on our own level.
Sure. All right, puzzle after puzzle, more questions and answers. Wildcard line 3, good evening. You're on the air with Chad Deacon.
Good evening, this is Chris Carl.
Yes.
I totally heard that I announced that tomorrow, Monday, the Mandela Williams show will also have your vocal program for those out there, and your program I'm sure you're going to tune in. Now, I would say this, it is my firm belief that the crop circle phenomenon is definitely connected to the UFOs, but with our current level of scientific knowledge and understanding, and just pointed out, it is very difficult to analyze the pattern after all the conditioning process, what I call them below. But my scenario is this, that about 1,000 or 2,000 feet in a different dimension, picture spacecraft, looking through a dimensional window, and just like a slide projection to a screen, to focus and through the crop circle formation for our awareness. And we don't look up, we have to catch our eyes looking down.
All right, that's good. Good question. Another dimension. That the craft itself is in another dimension, Chad. A lot of work being done about other dimensions, period, as it relates to UFOs and travel and all the rest of it. What do you think about that?
Sure, that is definitely a possibility. For one thing, we're looking at the crop circle not just in a two-dimensional plane, but in a three-dimensional plane, and we're getting using computer graphics to try to do that. And as far as trying to find out where this intelligence is coming from, it could very well be from another dimension, another...
Yeah, toward that end, Chad, have they taken a computer and modeled these circles in different dimensions, looking for some sense to them in other dimensions, as if, for example, you would view them from the side rather than from above?
Absolutely, yes. A lot of work being done in that right now. It's relatively new, and we have a long way to go yet. What we're finding are, getting back to the language and symbolism, possibly electronic circuits or whatever, we're finding a very interesting mathematical relationship in the crop circles. It's based on the diatonic scale, which is a musical scale. Taking the diameters and the distances that circles are apart from each other and the width of paths that connect them, etc., etc. There's a very, very interesting relationship there. So possibly, if there is a language, it may be mathematical, and maybe they are trying to talk to us on that level, a very simple mathematical level. Gerald Hawkins has done a lot of work on that. Nothing definite yet, but the most tantalizing area yet to be explored is the mathematical aspect.
Fascinating. All right. Well, hopefully you'll update us. I'd sure like to keep track of what's happening, Chad. So I hope you'll keep in touch.
There's constant development.
All right. Good evening on the first-time caller line. You're on the air with Chad Beacon.
Hello.
Turn your radio off, please.
Okay. Yes, the question, somebody has a crop circle report. How are they going to get through by writing a letter quickly enough? And I have another question after that.
All right.
Is there a phone number?
Chad, is there a number or a central reporting point, or how does somebody do this?
I'll give up my phone number.
Are you sure you want to do that now?
Sure, that's fine.
All right.
The area code 604. Okay. 732-0092. 0090?
0092. Correct. I'll read it again. Where is that, Chad?
In Vancouver.
Vancouver, British Columbia. Area code 604-732-0092.
Right, okay. And the other thing is that I was in England in 78 around Stonehenge and traveling around the country, and remember seeing these large indentations in these very low-cut grass fields, and it was almost like looking at a golf course and seeing these big round circles that had little camels going into other circles, and there was also mounds that were protruding above the ground that were very strange, and I never got an explanation for those. And what year was that? At 77. That is pretty well pre-crop circle time. They may have been mounds, burial mounds. I've been to Stonehenge several times, and all around Stonehenge are very low mounds. They're only about 4 to 10 feet high, and they keep them. They cover them in grass. They're not crops. In fact, they're grass, and they keep them closer crops. But I don't really know what you were looking at, but I doubt if it was crop circles. Well, the other, they're not really crop circles, but the other things they were like just right on the ground and indentions in the ground, maybe 8 inches deep, and perfect circles, and just everything seemed very symmetrical, and they were just all over the countryside. But they have been ancient excavations for the stones, the large stones that they built Stonehenge with. In a cross circle, you don't get an indentation in the ground. There's no physical imprint whatsoever. It's only the cross that is bent, flattened to the ground. But the ground itself is physically untouched.
All right, thank you, caller. Chad, again, if that kind of radiation was used, or some sort of radiation, one would think that it would also affect the microorganisms that are normally found teeming in fertile earth. And would that not be another area of investigation?
Sure, yeah, and it has been investigated. The microorganism is very sensitive, of course, and any small amount of energy would affect it drastically, and we have found no effect. Also, insects, there are tons of insects in the field at all times. Grasshoppers, aphids, things of that nature. They would also be affected, and they haven't been. Only those 2 porcupines. I just don't know why porcupines would have been virtually cremated.
Just enough to drive you up the tree.
It's just no evidence that you can find time and time again. There are little bits and pieces of different things. When you piece them all together, you simply, like a puzzle, it doesn't fit together. You can't get a whole picture. At least not yet.
So this will drive you then to continue to investigate all of this. How are you going to proceed? We're very short on time here. But where does your investigation go from here, Chad?
Back to England.
Back to England.
Okay, yeah, next year I'll be going back another month. There will be more scientific testing, more instruments used, more observations, etc. Anything we could possibly think of. There are a lot of very imaginative people, scientists included, involved in this. Until we can get the smoking gun, so to say, we won't stop. Once you're a crop circle investigator, you cannot put it down. It's totally infectious.
All right, well, you have been a joy to interview. It's been great. I'm sorry, we could use hours more, but we don't have them.
Well, thank you very much, Art. It was a pleasure to meet you, Phil.
Chad, I would like to be sure to invite you back. We're going to have you back again.
Sure, I'll give you an update for the coming year.
Wonderful. Chad Deacon, thank you. And that's it, folks. I'm sorry, we're out of time. We'll do this again next Sunday evening at 8. To all of you left on the line, thank you for being so patient. I'm sorry we didn't get you all in. Remember, your contact at the Bigelow Foundation is Angela Thompson at area code 702-456-1606. For area 2000, I'm Art Bell. The preceding program was made possible by a grant from the Bigelow Foundation. This has been Area 2000, a program that introduces our listeners to the scientific approach to discussion of two particular subjects: UFOs and near-death and after-death experiences. To contact the Bigelow Foundation, please call during the week between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Area code 702-456-1606. Ask for Angela Thompson. That's area code 702-456-1606. And be with us next Sunday evening at 8 for another edition of Area 2000. Downtown. This is KDWN Las Vegas. And now, Area 2000. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Area 2000, 8 o'clock Sunday night. This is the time. I'm Art Bell. You're listening to a program dedicated to an examination of two major topics: UFOs and life after death. And we will consistently be doing that week after week. And as usual, we'll begin the program this morning. I guess I ought to tell you we've got a particularly interesting guest tonight. His name is Mark Davenport, and we're going to be getting to him right after our glimpse of yet another reality, which comes beaming all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with Linda Howe. So let us not waste any time. Get right underway. Linda, good evening.
Hi, Art. Well, the whole issue of are there intelligent life forms out there is a question that the Triad Research Conference is going to focus on in Phoenix, Arizona on January 22nd and 23rd. Speakers scheduled are Professor John Max of Harvard, Professor Jack Crasher from the University of Nebraska, Yvonne Smith, a psychologist working with abductees in California, Guy Ambrose, an abductee who was on the front cover of one of the national newspaper magazines this past year, John Carpenter, the psychiatric hypnotherapist from Springfield who's been on Area 2000, Colin Andrews, a researcher of the classical mystery, and Michael Lindemann of the 2020 group in California. They are going to also provide an option for people attending that conference to, they call it Dine with the Researchers Banquet, in which people going to Phoenix to this conference will have an opportunity to sit with some of these people and talk more personally during dinner. They will have workshops for professionals and for people using hypnosis. That will be conducted by Professor Mack and John Carpenter. There will be a group meeting for the abduction syndrome experiencers with Yvonne Smith and Guy Ambrose. The conference will take place at the Sunburst Hotel and Conference Center in Scottsdale, Arizona, and the cost for the two-day event will be $50. For further information, people want to write this number down, they can call 417 area code 882-6847. That's coming up in about 2 weeks in Phoenix. Then, for our Area 2000 listeners interested in Nellis Air Force Base's Area 51, there will be a public hearing on Monday, January 31 at 7 p.m. in Caliente, in Nevada. The issue is whether the Whitesides Mountain and Freedom Ridge above the military site should remain public land. The Air Force has stated that it needs to acquire the land to maintain public safety, quote unquote, without explaining what the danger is. Glenn Campbell, Secretary of the Whiteside Mountain Defense Committee in Rachel, Nevada, would like to see everyone who opposes the Air Force acquisition of more public land to contact both the Caliente Area Bureau of Land Management, the manager there, and the state director of the Bureau of Land Management, and for everyone to attend the Caliente hearing, again January 31 at 7 p.m. Closing White Sands Mountain and Freedom Ridge would eliminate one of the few locations in which the public has been able to even try to keep an eye on whatever flies in and out of Area 51, including rumors of silver discs from an alien intelligence. How much the United States government knows and how long it has had knowledge about alien life forms interacting with our planet is one of the most controversial issues today. One man has single-handedly carried on a Freedom of Information Act battle with government agencies for several years, trying to crack the secrecy. That man is Clifford Stone, a retired sergeant first class from the United States Army. Sergeant Stone invested in UFO phenomena that provoked during his military career, during investigations of strange incidents he was either personally involved in or had knowledge about. Recently, Sergeant Stone sent documentation to his United States senators and representatives from New Mexico and to other U.S. Senators Sam Nunn and Edward Kennedy, requesting that congressional hearings be organized about the issue of government suppression of information about alien life forms. Sergeant Stone feels strongly that the American public deserves truth about the interaction of this other intelligence that he insists he and others have knowledge about. And in the following excerpt, he describes for me some of his earliest discoveries in the late 1970s by the military, including projects named Moondust and Blue Fly. Sergeant Stone says those projects involve the recovery of alien spacecraft and bodies. But so far, no government agency will confirm their existence. And now I'd like to play an excerpt from a man who has spent a good deal of his personal energy and money trying to get some kind of documentation to back up what he says he was exposed to during his years in the Army. This is Sergeant Stone.
And what I found shocking was I knew about the blue fly back at that time.
Can you explain to our listeners what those projects are?
Moondust is the Air Force's overall field exploitation program for the recovery of down, non-drug,
So what you're saying is to see satellites from, let's say, the Soviet Union that came down, or there was actually a category of unknown objects.
And the objects of unknown origin I find most fascinating because, yes, they were of Soviet origin. The Soviets would have been just as capable as we are to determine the point of impact that they basically would have impacted the Earth. If we recovered that thing way back long into the century and didn't return it, I'm sure that the Soviet Union would have filed an official protest to the United Nations because we are a part of the Soviet Union resolution and agreement on the return of space debris if it provides permission to get back.
But during your military duty, did you ever know for a fact or see documentation of an unknown object that founded Private Moondust, Private Blue Flag, that actually was, from your point of view, from somewhere else outside this planet?
Oh, I'm pretty sure we have several situations with that happening. I have documentation on cases that go back into the 60s, but to this day, the military, that's the intelligence community, will not talk about. We have a case in Pittsburgh. I was at Washington Air Force Base when they got that in. They didn't see the
just prevention. It's just prevention. It was just a little bit like an acorn.
It was shaped like an acorn. Everyone laughed the way I tried to explain it. Stop. To me, if you shoot so fast, you can't look up, if you think center,
Right?
that's the best way I can identify it, shooting it over the top, because I had it tied down tightly.
So what was the record or other scuttlebutt about it when you were in the military?
I went ahead and the individual that made it possible for me to see it was not a UFO, but he did not believe in UFOs. He was a guy that probably graduate. So when he went out, his things and earned maybe 15, 20 minutes. I got to stay in the car and parked outside of the fence line, but I could see the hangar where it went into real good from the fence line.
And this was which life on intelligence?
Laughlin Airport Station at the time.
Which was located?
It was located about 20 miles south of Columbus, Ohio. Anyhow, if he went in there, his intent, he knew I had an interest in UFOs. His intent was, let me see it, and I'm sure he planned to come back out and say, see, it's a Soviet craft, we're going to return it to him. But that's not the way it came out. When he came out, he was white as a sheet, and I asked him if it was Soviet. And his response was, I almost verbatim was, no, it wasn't Soviet. But I said, well, what was it? And he said, well, it's stuff you don't talk about it, but I'll tell you this. Every question you have about UFOs, the answer is underneath the canvas on the back of that trailer.
And that was the first one. What other incident in your military career would have brought you the closest that you could share with us and viewers that it has convinced you that we're dealing with something that is not from this planet? Tell us about that.
I know for a fact that there was things that went on there. I know for a fact that there was official talk about getting being involved and being seen. I know for a fact that something that's down there in the forest that was not just light reflection from the lighthouse. I believe some people are talking right now that still have a tendency of not wanting to talk about the enemy.
Now, where were you serving in the military in December of 1980 when this strange
I was stationed at Derrickenau, Germany.
and stationed in Germany with a strange event taking place at St. Otto's Air Force Base in England? How did you become involved in the investigation?
It was my friend.
Okay,
He went ahead and picked me up on early morning hours of December 27th.
so this is unofficial, as far as you were concerned.
It was supposed to be unofficial, but I was supposed to be working that day. And I wound up not having to go to work. Since this was something I had an interest in, I could go with him.
Alright, and so you traveled from Germany to St. Otto's, England with this man.
We went to England, but we also went to Lindsay Air Force Base. The systems, there were photographs, there was film, there was documentation. Now, who did the documentation, I'm not sure of.
And what did you see in the documentation?
The documentation was alluding to a vehicle sitting down there, that there was vehicles seen. Also, some of the people who got to read the documentation were discussing about the enemy.
And were you able to read any of this documentation and see any of these photographs yourself?
If that happens, I can't talk about it openly.
Okay. Can you describe from your conversations with other people your impressions of what was on those photographs?
Oh, I definitely believe that they had photographs of even the enemy.
And
I also know that the tape recording that has been around within the UFO circles, that is a very version of a much longer conversation.
Okay, let's try to talk about what you know from your experiences there in December of 1980. Let's start with what were the descriptions, even if they were secondhand, about the entities on the photograph? How were they depicted?
Was entities that seemed to pop out of the ship with no opening to the scene. Seemed to be,
Coming to the wall?
that they would put a flashlight flash in the air on top of the ship, but they
A flash of light and then a being would be there.
Right.
And how is the being across the track?
They describe them as being almost between a greater and something flight.
Was it description?
Pardon?
Did they give a description of the head and the torso?
They gave the description of the torso as being slender, and also the head being rather large, out of proportion to the rest of the body.
Can you say about eyes?
The eyes were, I can't remember what if the documentation is referring to them as being, like a pear shape. I got that wrong. A pear shape with the large proportions pointing inward toward the nose. Huge black eyes.
And any indication of size?
Between 3.5 and 4 foot tall.
How many of these sort of pass out of the flashes of light?
One report that this got being taken from what I read in that report, there was as many as 5 entities.
Okay. Did you personally, were you able to talk with anybody who was there the night that those entities flashed into appearance around this object?
I got to talk to some people who were personally there, but I can't talk about that.
And
Situation I think everyone needs to know is that even if you get out and you start talking
being out of the military.
about the military, there's certain things you feel safe to talk about. There's other things that you don't feel real comfortable talking about because they're not concerned about what you might say, they're concerned more about what you can prove. And when it gets to the point of you getting to an area of being able to prove certain things, that's where they get concerned. And they have forms that you sign for a confidential secret top secret signing up called Standard Form 4195, Standard Form 312, which is a non-disclosure statement. They can do bad things to you, go ahead and discuss that material. That's not as bad as what you discuss Central Department of Information. The 312 is only about a page long. If you privy to what's called Central Department of Information, extremely sensitive information, which falls under special access program, then you sign what's called a Standard Form 4193. And it's roughly 5 to 6 pages long. And what they can do to you there is much, much greater than what they can do to you on really breaking information that might be confidential to the Constitution.
What is so threatening to the military and the government about UFO information?
My personal viewpoint and belief is that they're concerned about the technology falling into the hands of some other country.
I know this is normalized, but I feel that it is so important with things that would appear to fall both into the category of some kind of recovered class that was not considered to be here, as well as some kind of non-human being.
Right. Linda, earlier you mentioned the Freedom of Information Act, and I'd like to get briefly your view on that from this perspective. Recently there was some nuclear testing, or revelations about nuclear testing on human beings. And Linda, none of that came to pass really until they wanted it to come to pass.
Exactly.
And wouldn't you think generally that you could submit Freedom of Information Act request after request, and until they're ready for you to get something, the odds of you getting it are kind of small?
Generally, I think that's true, especially in the alien life form category. I was told in 1983 that all the really sensitive information was buried in the Atomic Energy Commission files under the Manhattan Project, and all of that would still be classified under a national security concern, and none of that would be released under FOIA request. However, what Sergeant Curry has done is a very sensitive approach. He knew that there were certain projects, like Moonbus and Blue Sky, that he had seen, he said, with his own eyes, and that he knew they had to do with recovery of objects both unknown and others. And he decided that he would at least try with the data that he knew from his own service and from other colleagues in the military, that he would at least try with as much data as he had to access under the Freedom of Information Act.
Sure, and there's always a possibility they will slip up and let something through.
Well, he's gotten enough information, but he felt that he at least had a responsibility to send the material to congressional representatives. And now the question is, will there be any response? He said that in the next few months, if he does get some kind of a response from the congressional representatives, he will let me know and we can share it on Area 2000. Further, I think his suggestion is one that I know other researchers have shared with audiences, and that is that all of us in the United States should have a more frequent dialogue with our representatives about subjects that we concern us. That is what is supposed to be the heart of the democracy. And in this whole issue, government knowledge and suppression, over 50 years of information concerning something as important as alien interaction with our planet, perhaps if a lot of people wrote letters to their congressional representatives from all of the states that are here in Area 2000 and hopefully other states in the country, it might begin to build up a pressure that would call for some kind of response. But on the other hand, I also know that we're dealing with subjects that are so difficult that sometimes I put myself in the shoes of whether it's a congressional person, an intelligence person, or whoever in the government, and I know that this is not an easy story to tell no matter what. So I do also have sympathy to a certain extent with what appears to have been a policy of silence.
All right, excellent. Well, as usual, it was a great report, tantalizing information, and we'll have to see where it goes.
Next week, if one of my sources is available, I think what I'm going to do, because I think the Bentwater story is so important, that I may do even a further in-depth for some of our listeners who may not know about the Bentwaters, and I don't have time to go into it in great depth tonight, but I think that I will go in depth on that story, and if I can, I'll do that next week.
Bentwater appears to be a serious enough incident that it launched a number of researchers I know into looking into all of this. It's apparently that solid. Linda, we'll look forward to hearing from you next week, same time, same station.
All right, guys.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, that's Linda Howe, and consistently fascinating reports. And now Mark Davenport. He is a lifelong student of UFO phenomena, has researched UFOs and abductions intensively for 20 years. He studied chemical engineering at the University of Missouri at Rolla, worked as a manufacturing engineer for a number of years before becoming a full-time freelance writer in 1985. He is the author of several books, including Visitors from Time, which we will discuss extensively this morning, The Secret of the UFOs, which is the first in-depth analysis of evidence that UFOs warp space-time. His articles have appeared in several popular magazines, including Analog Science Fiction, Science Fact, UFO Universe, and UFO Magazine. He lectures on and debates the subjects of UFOs and abductions edits works by other ufologists and have appeared on numerous radio and television programs. Everything from the From Dixieland's Plaza downtown, this is KDWN Las Vegas. For the entire western United States, this is the Talk of the West, KDWN. Good evening, Area 2000 in progress. Mark Davenport on the telephone. Mark Davenport, hello there.
Yes,
Good evening, welcome to the program.
thank you. Glad to be here.
You have written a number of works, and we'll talk to us, I guess, about a number of things that I've been very curious about. Of all the things that we look into, I think one of the most fascinating for me is time travel. And the title of one of your works is Visitors from Time.
Right.
Have you become convinced that that is what UFOs are in total or part?
I believe that UFOs represent a widespread, a lot of different phenomena. I don't think that it's any one particular phenomenon that we're seeing here. I think we're seeing a very complex grouping of lots of different phenomena. But I think that after you separate out the hoaxes and the hallucinations and the misperceptions of common objects like airplanes and weather balloons and so forth, I think you're left with a lot of reports of things that we have trouble explaining, and I think that many of these are probably craft that are piloted and that utilize some sort of a generator or some sort of machine, or possibly even just maybe even done telekinetically, with the mind. But somehow or other, these people are able to work space-time in much the same way that a black hole might work space-time. And that's how they arrive here from other places, not only other planets, but possibly other stars, other galaxies, other dimensions that coexist with ours, including even our own future or in our own past.
Do you think, you think it may be all of these together? They may be arriving from other actual times and other actual places, both.
Yes, if you're actually able to work space-time, and let me just lay this out a little bit here. Einstein said back in 1905 that space and time are interdependent, and together they form a four-dimensional continuum that we call space-time, and the presence of matter warps the space-time continuum. He said that the greater the mass, the greater the curvature. And as we found out since then, these black holes, they actually warp space-time so much that it turns inside out and time runs backwards there.
Would it be possible, without actually entering a black hole,
Yes.
to simply skim the event horizon and experience this?
Well, according to Dr. Frank Tipler, he says that yes, this could be done. He says that if you were able to bring a number of rotating black holes together, or rotating neutron stars together somehow, you could actually build a working time machine. Now, Craftsman doesn't make any tools big enough to do that sort of work.
No.
But I think that it's obvious that these people in these UFOs, their technology is so far advanced from ours that, they make us look foolish sometimes, and I think that their technology is advanced enough that they have learned how to do this more easily than using things like neutron stars. I think they have learned enough about physics to be able to do it much more easily than that.
Let me back up with you a little bit. What is it? Is it any one thing or is it many things? What convinces you that this whole UFO phenomenon is real, that we really are being visited? If I were to ask you for the best evidence that you have, or what convinced you, what would you say?
Well, I've gone far past that. The UFOs being real. I did a debate this year earlier in Kansas City where that's what we talked about, and we had a tremendous amount of evidence in that. Here we have not only things like burned circles of grass and soil that's been calcified and broken tree branches and scars on the steeple and pavement that's been lit on fire. And of course, thousands of photographs and thousands of feet of videotape and thousands of feet of film and so on and so forth, even including the implanted devices that have been removed from abductees.
So it is the weight of a lot of evidence.
And there is a tremendous amount of evidence to show that UFOs are real.
By the way, Mark, you are in right now Gulf Breeze, Florida. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. I'm on Pensacola Beach, right out on the Gulf, and we just came in from the beach. We were sky watching, hoping to see one of the craft that they see here often. They've even named it here.
No.
They call it Bubba. And I gave a lecture here for the local Bluefine group today, and some of the people who attended the lecture have had as many as 180 sightings of a craft.
That's a lot of sightings. Did you have the opportunity, Mark, to see any photographs?
Yes, we saw some astounding videotape for a couple of hours last evening that the people here showed us, and some of it was quite dramatic. And they saw these things from a number of different locations. They were able to triangulate and find out how high the objects were and so forth.
Does anybody in Gulf Breeze have any good reason for why Gulf Breeze as opposed to anywhere else?
Well, it's kind of speculation, of course. People have speculated many different reasons. One of the reasons why they appear to be is the fellow named Bill Burger. More often than other people, and sometimes they seem to appear out of nowhere when he happens to be there. So,
There's been a lot of controversy surrounding him.
yeah.
What's your feeling regarding his credibility?
Well, I was unable to meet him, and I was hoping to meet him, but he didn't come to the presentation, and I didn't get a chance to meet him. But I do know that some very good experts have studied some of the photographs that he's taken and have pronounced them genuine as much as they're able to do. Bruce Maccabee has looked at these things and has said that he can't figure out how these things are taken in space. And of course we have lots of other photographs here in this same area that were taken by other citizens here who some of them didn't even know Ed Walters. They were taken with different cameras at different times and they looked the same. And we also have a great deal of testimony from people that they had seen things here on a number of different occasions. I mentioned a while ago that one couple here, the Morrisons, have seen UFOs on 180 different occasions.
Wow.
So that's, and on most of those occasions, Ed Walters was not anywhere near. So, yes, I'm convinced that there is some issue here. Nobody knows whether it was God. That's highly secret and we don't know about. That could be alien, that could be something else that we're unable to even conjecture what they are.
Is there a military base close enough to offer an explanation of that sort where the secret stuff goes on?
Yes, there's Eglin Air Force Base close here, but that's the case. If you find out in most of the country, there will be a military base close by just about any place.
Indeed. All right, well, let us once again jump forward. In the little things we had to talk about here, they've got a section where it talks about 100,000 mile per hour flight, 180-degree turns without sound or damage. Well, obviously, if human biological animals went through that, they would be a puddle of biological soup.
Right, that's right, yeah.
So how in the world could that ever be done?
Well, if these things have some kind of generator aboard or whatever it is, something that creates a field around the craft that works based on,
then that craft is totally enveloped in that field, so that it's carrying its own little private universe around with it. It's outside of our normal space-time, and it's sort of like the idea of a fly flying around inside your car, and you're traveling down the road at 70 miles an hour, or 65 if you want to be legal. And this fly is buzzing around your car. It has no idea that you're going that fast, because it's totally encased inside the car. When you slam on the brakes and get in that turn in front of you, the fly still does it. That's totally concerned about what's happening outside. You know, the air outside is what you fly.
That's a good analogy.
And I think that possibly this is the same way with these crafts. They're inside this little bubble, this little private universe that's outside of our normal space-time. And inside that, it could be that even though it appears to us they're traveling at, say, 20,000 miles per hour, they may actually, to them, they may be traveling at 30 miles per hour. And so when they appear to stop instantaneously in reverse direction and travel 20,000 miles an hour in the other direction, it could be that they're making a leisurely turn and going back at 20 miles per hour to them. The time is relative. That's one of the things that Einstein tried to tell us a long time ago, and we're only just learning today, is that time is relative. Time is not what we think it is at all. In fact, it does not even exist as we think of it. It is
Well, that makes it quite a mass delusion then, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. But according, now this is quantum physics. This is not some far-out New Age idea. This is something that's coming from the cutting-edge people in our universe who are studying subatomic particles, and this is what they're finding out.
Well, then, I once saw an intriguing movie about time in which it was kind of a romance, and I can't recall the name of it. I keep thinking Time After Time, but that wasn't the one. In which a man thought himself, literally thought himself into the past. And what you have just described would seem possible if what you're saying is correct. That would seem possible that you could, with your own mind, if you knew how to do it, travel in time. How do you react to that?
I think it could be possible. I've recently been reading a book called The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot, in which he describes something similar to that. Dr. Fred Alan Wolf has a book called Parallel Universes, in which he describes what quantum physicists are finding out about the nature of the universe and about time. And what they are finding out is that when they do studies with photons and studies with subatomic particles, the observer in their experiments actually flavors the experiment, or actually determines what happens to the experiment. It's hard to describe, but they've done experiments to show that actually it is our own mental processes that are creating the outcome of some of the experiments. And so what they're extrapolating from that is that collectively and individually we actually create our own reality. And of course, if we are not the only beings in this universe, if there are others, then they're probably helping us and working with us. And again, this is as far as that creation is concerned. Now, I know that's a pretty abstract way of thinking about things, but once again, this isn't something far out New Age.
this is fun and physics. And what I've learned is that ufologists don't know about quantum physics. Physicists don't know about ufology. And the metaphysicians, the people who have been studying metaphysics and telling us for centuries that this is the way things are happening, don't know about either one of them. And they seem to all be converging on this one point. And the point is that space-time can be warped, can be distorted, can be changed, it is elastic, linear.
Well, then it seems to me we could perhaps yield a very great deal by getting these groups together for sort of a let's talk about it sort of session. Has anybody done that, or is that underway now? Or?
Well, I think, that is being done more of an extent now than it was in the past. I, for instance, have started a newsletter called Contact Forum, and the whole point of the newsletter is to get people to communicate with one another. You know, we have, in ufology, we have a bunch of factions. We have channelers who say that they're getting information from somewhere out there, and they're telepathically receiving this information